So, what does an assessment process really look like? Are you coming on site? Are you doing it remotely? How much of my time as the client is it going to take? What's involved?
Yeah, so yes to all of that.
Ooh.
The process
yes.
generally starts with a review of the 110 controls, questionnaire style, but it's not just ask the question, the answer is yes or no, right? It's ask the question, understand how that question applies to your organization, determine where the control remediation has taken place. Is it really complete for what the control is asking for?
How have you implemented it?
How have you implemented it, and does that meet the control standards?
Yep.
So that generally takes somewhere in the neighborhood, I'm going to say, of 4 to 6 hours of time. It is generally done remotely over a like Teams meeting, something like that. Broken into 1 hour sections because most people can't take more than an hour of that. But
It's the truth.
and really stay focused on making sure we're doing it right. Because again, this is going to be audited at some point. So we want to make sure we didn't just check the box and said, do you use multi-factor? Yes. Oh, but you're not using it for everyone. You're not using it login. You're not using it here. You're not right. We got to ask enough questions to know we're actually meeting the control because the auditor is going to look this time. And so that's important. So that takes some time. That takes time from business resources as well as technical resources in the client organization because there are some controls that are technical and some that are more process driven. Subsequent to the verbal evaluation, we would then go on site and do a visual verification of all the answers. So collect some evidence about the things we were told. All right, you said that you require complex passwords with a regular change frequency, etc. Show me that policy, pull up that group policy, prove it, screenshot it, save it out, and we attach it into the control in the assessment so that we've got some of that evidence you're going to need at some point in the future, and we're collecting it as we go. We've also verified that it wasn't just lip service. You actually are doing it, right? You're talking about multi-factor everywhere. We're going to want to see you get to a couple of machines and have to multi-factor in different places, not just one multi-factor in one place, right?
Show me on VPN that it's actually enforced.
Yeah. So depending upon the size and complexity of the environment, that might be a half day to a day on site, probably for a CISO level resource and a network engineer, security engineer to be there going through that type of stuff. Once that visual verification's done, all that information comes back together, churns up in the machine that is our CISO services, so that they can figure out, okay, what's actually met, what's partially met, what's not met, what's that gap analysis look like. From the gaps, then, okay, based upon what we know about this organization and their needs, what would remediation look like? Put together remediation recommendations, put it together in a remediation plan, and be able to give something back to the client that is actionable as soon as they have that. Generation of the POAM and the SSP are all part of that, but the focus really is that remediation plan so that we can figure out, okay, how do we get you now to point B? How do we get you to compliance?
You got to move forward and you got to figure out where to start.
Yeah, and that's usually a couple hour meeting by the time we're done, and that's usually done face to face as well, so we can talk through the things that are there and figure out how can we help.
Got it. Very good, Mike. Love it.
So those are the basic questions we get a lot about the CMMC process. We hope that this was valuable information in your CMMC journey. We'd love to be there to guide you along the way, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.